The United States has just officially announced that they will build a monster of the seas. You may have heard in recent months about Donald Trump's intention to have a new class of warships built, with size and power far beyond those of modern battleships. Trump already spoke years ago about his love for these iron giants, which however will not be brought back with the same philosophy as in the past. Basically, we won't see a new Iowa with giant cannons and able to withstand enemy fire. Rather, it will be a naval platform with a lot of technology that will serve as a central hub for the entire fleet. The new thing, however, is that if until a few months ago many people, myself included, had legitimate doubts, honestly, I still have some, that this class would take shape, well, these days the US Navy has left us rather surprised. The US fleet has published the new shipbuilding plan for the 2027 fiscal year, a document that defines the long-term strategy to expand the fleet, strengthen the industrial base, and increase the operational capabilities of the naval force. The plan calls for an investment of over $65 billion allocated to shipbuilding in the 2027 fiscal year alone. $65 billion. For the same year, funds are requested for 34 crewed ships and 5 unmanned platforms. In the 5-year plan, however, the fleet intends to acquire a total of 122 ships and 63 unmanned systems. This is one of the largest naval expansion programs announced by the United States in recent decades. According to the Department of the Navy, the project aims to build a larger, more modern, and more combat-ready fleet. At the same time, it supports the shipyards. A weak point for the United States is the workforce and industrial capabilities. The new program was presented by the acting secretary, Chow, who replaced John Pellon, who was suddenly removed from office a few weeks ago for reasons unknown to us. Chow described the project for the Golden Fleet as the modern heir to the Great White Fleet of the Roosevelt era, stating that the United States is now at a decisive moment for its maritime dominance. The U.S. fleet states that it currently has 291 operational warships, a number lower than the set goal of 355 units. The document also highlights an industrial problem that you are well aware of. The shipbuilding budget has doubled over the past 20 years, but the fleet has not grown compared to its 2003 level. For this reason, the plan also aims at a shipyard reform. The fleet then emphasizes the importance of being able to meet delivery deadlines and in some way refers to the Constellation class, the frigate program that recently failed, and tries to learn from those mistakes. But in the end, you're here to talk about monsters, about Kraken. One of the centerpieces in this program is the 35,000-ton hull known as BBGN, nuclear-powered battleships with guided missiles. Yes, they didn't hold back. It was confirmed that these large surface units will use nuclear propulsion. According to the document, each ship will have a displacement, as mentioned, of about 35,000 tons of length that could reach 270 meters and a hull width of almost 35 meters. The units should exceed 30 knots of maximum speed, which is over 55 km/h. The fleet specifies that these ships, mind you, will not replace the Arleigh-Burke-class destroyers, but will increase the operational mass of the American surface fleet as higher-end platforms. The main role assigned to the new ships will therefore be to provide superior firepower, and I might add, these ships will be a real symbol even at a diplomatic level if they ever become a reality. According to the plan, nuclear propulsion will allow for greater autonomy, high energy availability, and the possibility to integrate advanced systems required by modern combat. Very energy-intensive systems. We're talking about significant numbers. 15 ships of the Trump or Defiant class between 2028 and 2055 with an average of 1 new unit every 2 years. While we don't have any information yet about the actual construction and delivery times, we're only talking about the purchase. An initial official estimate in this regard indicates a cost of about $17 billion for each ship, higher than what is expected for the future Ford-class aircraft carriers. And we should emphasize that over time, these costs will probably increase. The shipbuilding plan also provides some details about the expected capabilities for the Trump class. Each unit will be equipped with large vertical launch systems, the VLS, designed to launch conventional and nuclear missiles, including hypersonic missiles. An electromagnetic cannon is also among the listed systems. 5-inch naval guns, directed energy laser systems, and additional close-in defense weapons. Please note, many of the systems I just mentioned will probably be installed on the ship in the coming years. Some of them are not yet fully developed, they haven't taken shape yet, so it will be interesting to see how they will be integrated. The fleet states that these technologies could reduce the dependence on traditional single-use munitions, both for attack and defense, clearly reducing the logistical burden. I'm clearly referring to the part about directed energy weapons, but also to the part about electromagnetic cannons. Nuclear propulsion also offers practically unlimited range, but it also brings greater complexity, difficulties in terms of design, maintenance, and logistical support. The only nuclear-powered surface combat ship, pay attention, I'm talking about a combat ship, not aircraft carriers, operational in the world, is the Russian Kirov-class cruiser Admiral Nakhimov, which we've already talked about in previous episodes and will talk about again. Because it's an interesting hull and we should see it again on the Karimari in some time. The United States plan also dedicates a lot of space to unmanned systems, as I mentioned. The 2027 budget includes 3 medium-sized unmanned surface vessels, while the 5-year plan includes 47 medium-sized surface vehicles and 16 larger vehicles. This is confirmed by recent developments, with Fincantieri and its US subsidiary collaborating with local companies to produce autonomous naval vessels. Spectre is one example. At the same time, the fleet intends to develop a new frigate program aimed at freeing up destroyers from secondary missions, such as convoy escort, anti-submarine warfare, anti-drug operations, and defense of the national territory. And it should involve the hulls based on the ships currently assigned to the Coast Guard. However, the ambitions of the United States clash with the reality of the shipyards. All that glitters isn't gold. I always say that, but today it's especially true since we're discussing the Golden Fleet. The war zone reminds us that the only American shipyard capable of building nuclear-powered surface ships, like the Ford-class aircraft carriers. Ford, which is already operational, but for the other units there are construction delays, and even the shipyards that produce nuclear submarines are facing significant industrial pressures. That's a euphemism to say they're also behind schedule. The situation is further complicated by the AUKUS program, which involves supplying V-8 class submarines to Australia, as well as by the production of the new Columbia-class ballistic missile submarines. According to the document, these latter units must be delivered within extremely strict deadlines to avoid interruptions in the naval component of the US nuclear triad. That said, that's all for today. We will come back to this story in more detail together with Giulio Poggiaroni from Italian Military Archives in a few days with a new update. So I'll be waiting for your questions, suggestions, concerns, and doubts. See you soon here on Gens Italia. Sources in the first comment as always. Bye!